Good evening, folks. It's Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, the Yonkers Voicewire, the rally that never was. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I want to talk about the bogus rally that never was. And why is it getting so much attention now? Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics, the only place to get it honest. Real, raw truth lives here. It doesn't live at any of these other news sites. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. Tonight, I want to talk about the rally that never was, the bogus rally, and all the attention that it's now getting. All of the news outlets are talking about it, poking fun at it, and even saying that this may be a sign, a signal that people are in support of eliminating terms and seeing the mayor run for a fourth term. Is that true? What do you believe? I want to know. I want to see some comments. Are you in support of eliminating terms? Is that correct? I want to go over the Yonkers Times article that they put out. I find this very interesting that these guys did not talk about this rally until after the fact, right? Everybody, a lot of people got this flyer emailed to them. And I'm realizing, just how many actually did. I mean, it was on the Yonkers Voice. Someone shared an email they got. And in their email, they talked about providing transportation. So I knew that was bogus there. So anyway, the Yonkers Times, rally to keep term limits a big bust. One person shows up. Lack of interest backfires. I don't know who the one person it was, unless they're referring to me, but because no one showed up. Whoever organized the so-called urgent rally at Yonkers City Hall should be ashamed of themselves because only one protester showed up. That's not true. No one showed up. When more members of the media show up for an event than actual participant, it's a bust. More important, the reason for the rally, to protest the idea of submitting an amendment to the city charter to repeal the term limits law actually resulted in the exact opposite happening, that the idea of Mayor Spano running for a fourth term has no real opposition. So this is all a setup. This is all a setup. And I'm going to tell you exactly how this setup worked in a second, right? Mayor Spano has yet to make up his mind on whether he wants to run for a fourth term, if it was allowed. But in interviews, he has said that he wants a sign from the people of Yonkers to move forward and run for a fourth term before he does so. The lack of interest at the rally September 13th that had more crickets in attendance than people could give the mayor, than people could give the mayor that signal to move forward with plans for a fourth term. You hear that? So this is all a setup. So whoever sent out this email blast with this flyer really didn't want to promote it, but they wanted to have people see it, see the rally, and say, look, no one showed up. They knew that that's what would happen. That means that people want the mayor to run for a fourth term. They want terms eliminated. And so that's why now the Yonkers Times, the Yonkers Newswire, and the Yonkers Voice are all talking about it when they made no mention of it before. Maybe had they promoted it on their sites, it might have got traction. Maybe people would have come out. But there's only one, and it's just, I find this so odd, one news outlet that has made no mention of it at all, and that is the Yonkers Tribune. Hezi Aris has not said a word about this bogus rally, the rally that was a bust, the rally that the insiders or those that, are on team Zahi and Tasha Diaz and them are blaming the caterers. The Tribune often takes, not often, every time, every chance they get, they take shots at the Caters, criticize Mike's Caters all the time. Why is he not now criticizing the Caters on this rally that was a bust? Everyone's blaming the Caters. They're blaming me for it. So why isn't the Yonkers Tribune, that's controlled by Zahi Jeris, not mentioning it and just criticizing and poking fun to no end at the Caters? Because they know that it was not the Caters. The Tribune knows. This was Zahi Jeris, 1,000%. 1,000%. This was done by Zahi Jeris. Now, what I wonder, the only thing that I'm wondering is whether or not the administration knows about it. Is the administration aware that Zahi Jeris masterminded this fake rally? I mean, it could have backfired. What if people actually came out? So I think that's what was. Are you telling me that you can't get 20 people to attend your rally in a city of 200,000 and the weather was great that night? So what's the excuse? Asked one Yonkers Democrat. Who's that? Ruros of Yonkers Voice attended. Where was Ruros? He was not there. I was there. I didn't see Ruros at all. I got there before 7. Ruros was nowhere to be found. Ruros of Yonkers Voice attended and afterwards joked, calling it the rally of the century. Ru counted 5 people in attendance. I don't know where he was at, and I don't know where these 5 people were at. But we saw only one older man with a sign. I don't know. Perhaps the other 4 came running once they realized that nobody showed up. And of course, the person or persons who organized this rally are nowhere to be found. But if hundreds had shown up, do you think we would know who they are? Some claim that there were no organizers for the event, but that's not true. Someone set this up and failed miserably. No, they meant that there was no one leading it. There was no one that stepped up and said, I'm organizing this, I'm leading it, and that it's a real rally. And so a lot of people didn't go because of that reason, because they knew and started to become more suspicious that something was not right here and that someone who wanted people to fall for some kind of trick. Some people were even concerned that they were going to show up and there was going to be a bunch of cops there and there was going to be something, like January 6th happening. That's what some people were thinking. So that's what kept people away, right? One former elected official thought that maybe supporters of changing term limits to allow Spano a 4th term organized the events in hopes that it would fail like it did. I now wonder if the purpose was to leave it as vague as possible, have little to no turnout as a result of non-sponsorship, to have the appearance that everyone is fine with the status quo. Great point. And I think that's exactly what happened here. And I find it interesting that Dan Murphy made no mention of this until now, because that was the plan. Don't say anything, because if they did, they would promote it. They'd be promoting it. They have a wide audience. Yonkers Voice has a big audience. And then when no one shows up, then let's talk about it. And then let's poke fun of it. And then let's make it seem like it's only a small group of people that truly do not want the terms being eliminated. And that's the plan. This is the Yonkers Voice. Again, made no mention of it until today. Just in case he actually blames somebody that is not even, and he puts their information out there. I love how this guy, update on the rally of the century. 5 people show up, 1 person in favor of keeping term limits and 4 people who weren't, right? And so bunch of comments here on it. And people even commented. They said, some people said we didn't even know about it. It wasn't promoted correctly, right? So, I mean, no one commented in support of eliminating terms, right? So William Ward here, the organizers weren't even there. Yonkers Voice, I don't know who the organizers were. Do you? Were you there? We know now who they were, as the organizers didn't even show up, right? If you don't have any organizers, you have no organization or following. Anonymous doesn't do it. Exactly. You have to be able to speak out and do it and show your face. So anyone that's doing it this way obviously wanted this to fail. Too bad the organizers did not identify themselves. I spoke against changing the will of the voters at City Hall a few years ago. We were there until past midnight, and the city council voted minutes after the hearing ended, which of course means, I got to see more. They knew all along how they would vote. Of course they do. They go in there ready. knowing how they're going to vote. That's why they never really asked questions or made any comments. Now they're doing that to make it try to sell it to us more, right? But they know how they're going to vote, just like with Wilson Kimball. It didn't matter that she was investigated by the Inspector General of the New York State and that she had that, history that, would make anyone say, no, we don't want this person near our city. Didn't matter. They didn't care. They ignored it and they voted for it anyway because that's what they had to do. They have no choice. They have no choice. Why do you think the organizers did not identify themselves? This is Yonkers Voice. I wish I knew the answer to that. I'm sure as to how long this flyer has been circulating and to what media outlets it was sent to. Now, I wonder if the purpose was to leave it as vague as possible, right? Yeah, that's what it was. They didn't want people coming out. And then you have Concerned Yonkers Democrats, of course, folks, this fake page. I know who that is, right? And so then he put up another post on the Yonkers Voice here again, making no mention of it until after the fact. Just in case you were wondering who organized the rally of the century, read the attachments that I received. Now, this was an email that was sent to a woman named Angelique Pin something. She comments a lot on the Yonkers Voice and other stuff. She sent this to the Yonkers Voice. This was the email that she got. The rumors of extending term limits and eliminating them altogether are at stake. As a community, we must come together and rally against any discussion or talk surrounding this topic. We must let the mayor and city council know we will not be robbed again just because we just because we don't support eliminating terms or extending them. That does not mean we are against the mayor. It means we have a democracy. It's time the mayor passes the torch. Please spread the word. If you can't make it, call the number. And then they also offered to provide transportation, right? It says here, transportation to 40 South Broadway will be provided to those who need it. Well, if they didn't identify themselves or who they were, how were they going to give anyone transportation, right? So that's how you know it's BS. And then it's obviously someone who kind of, likes the mayor, supports the mayor, whatever, is close to the mayor, because they say here, that does not mean we are against the mayor. It means we have a democracy. Okay. So somebody wants the mayor to step down. Somebody does not want the mayor and the city council eliminating terms so that the mayor can run again. Because if the mayor does run again, no one else is running. I mean, he probably won't have an opponent. He won't have any opposition. And there are a lot of people that want to become mayor. People like Corazon Pineda, people like John Rubo, people like Nader Sage. They want to be mayor. And so it could be any one of them. And that is more than likely who it is. And in my opinion, it could be Zahi Jeris. It could be Zahi Jeris. I know that Zahi Jeris and Nader Sage are very tight. Nader Sage has been wanting to become the mayor. And maybe he's creating this so that way he can go to the Yonkers Democratic Committee and say, hey, look, you see, people don't want the terms eliminated. There might be some strong opposition. If the mayor tries this, it may not be good. Let's just go with Nader. But I could be wrong. It could be Corazon and her camp. I mean, it's, strange how this popped up also around the same time exposing Yonkers corruption popped up, which that page has been on fire. And it's all about the mayor and term elimination. Or is it John Rubo? Some say he's been a little bitter about the fact that he's not being pushed for mayor like he once was. But they say that he may be given the deputy mayor position if he continues to play nice. So who is it? Who really emailed these flyers to people? It was someone from the inside. 1,000%, it was someone from the inside. And they wanted to perpetrate and make it look like it was the Caters and Freddy and a band of misfits here in Yonkers who just have it in for the mayor and the administration and all the city council because they're just a bunch of bitter people. Not because they could care less about the city of Yonkers, not because they do not represent the people, not because they are corrupt, not because they are undertake, obviously. Right, Tasha? Flip-flopping Diaz? That's why the people are speaking out against these individuals. Brian Harrod, something's wrong with this guy. Maybe we should do one of those, what do you call when you, a wellness check on this guy? Hey, ho, ho. The only village idiot shows up for the haters protest at City Hall. So Yonkers Voice and Brian Harrod worked together. At one point, they were going at it very fiercely. Brian Harrod was the first one to make light of the pedophilia charge and all that stuff with the sexual misconduct with the minor with Yonkers Voice, Beniros, and he was blasting that, calling him pedo tube and all that. And I guess Rose just could not take it anymore. They sat down, they worked out an agreement, and now they work together. So if you look at Yonkers Newswire's page, you'll see a lot of, Yonkers Voice stuff. He talks about the Yonkers Voice. They work together. And so he's saying that only one person, me, showed up, but Yonkers Voice is saying that a bunch of other people showed up. Yonkers Voice was not there. These guys are a bunch of liars, and I just want to expose them. And I want to show you how they're utilized by elected officials and those that are in politics within the Yonkers Democratic Committee in order to manipulate and influence individuals for their own benefit. LOL, the village idiot, he continues to talk about me and write about me, should have contacted Ruros at the Yonkers Voice or yours truly at the Yonkers Newswire to let Yonkers voters know about this big event in the city of Yonkers. But they did know. In fact, the administration and the city of Yonkers knew because they sent a police officer over to Carolyn Elizabeth Marie's home to ask her and question her about this rally and who was behind it. They had police officers there last night over by Unity Fountain. In the event, people showed up. So they knew about it. Brian, I'm sure, knew about it. The Yonkers Voice, I'm sure, knew about it. Right? So, oh my God, where was Carolyn? And then he names these individuals. Where was Carolyn, Elizabeth Marie, Marie Scott, Lauren Cater, John Limmel, Mike Cater, Ron Mattin, William Ward, London Reyes, Anderson Flan of the Inside Yonkers, and all the other YouTube yahoos. I put that yesterday. Then he goes on and goes off on Dan Murphy. He accused a guy named John Davis, also, or Yonkers Voice did, put his information out there. I called him up. The guy had no idea what was going on. Shaking my head. How could this happen? LOL. The village idiot had 101 YouTube views in the last 10 days. This guy is truly obsessed with me. It's a little strange now. LOL. That's an average of 10 views a day. He puts up my things from my screenshot from my YouTube channel. Then he goes on to bash Dan Murphy. The voices in the head of that Yonkers failing guy, Dan Mayopack Murphy, really got excited up in Putnam County over the Caters failed rally that Freddy was going to lead up to the Yonkers City Council chambers. Okay. I mean, this is unbelievable that this is allowed to happen here in the city of Yonkers. And this guy is supported and funded by our elected officials. He puts up their stuff all the time. All the time. Tasha Diaz. Childcare just got more affordable. What about housing, Tasha? What about housing? I love how she takes credit for things that she does not do. How can you be taking credit and doing any of this stuff when you're always at some food distribution, walking around with your phone, doing a live about how you got all these volunteers, all this food, and how you did it, and you made it happen. And it's funny, on one of the videos I have, I'm going to be posting it up. She goes to a woman that's volunteering, and she goes, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Tasha Diaz. Myself and the mayor put this together. Thank you for volunteering." And then she starts walking off, and the lady says, "Well, what about the pantry, the food pantry? We're the ones that bring the food." And then she goes back, "Oh yeah, I mentioned you guys too. I was telling about without you guys, this couldn't be possible." Again, a total flip-flop in a matter of seconds. This woman is a flip-flopper, and it makes sense why she wears chancletas. Childcare just got more affordable. Yeah, Tasha. Yeah. Do you know anything about my Little Prodigy scholarships? That's super affordable. Free childcare and UPK at Little Prodigies at My Childcare. Why don't you promote that? Because you won't. You only promote yourself, woman. And John Rubo, you see they got John Rubo up here. They got the Yonkers Voice. So you see who they support, who Yonkers Newswire supports. Our elected officials are okay with this guy. This is what he does. They pay him $75 an ad, right? And then he puts up this garbage against Decatur's and against me and against Maeve Scott and against Dan Murphy and against anyone, this maniac that's nuts who sits in front of his computer or they can think of. And they love that. They need a guy like that. That's a good weapon. Pay him $75. He doesn't, he needs all the money he gets, $75 an ad, and he sits in front of his computer all day attacking people, constantly attacking me, accusing me of child pornography and other disgusting things. Something's wrong with this guy. And he brings in London Ray as a poor guy. The guy never has anything to do with anything, right? So this is all a setup, folks. This was all a setup. This is all a setup. This is all a setup by Zahi Jeris, I believe, in my opinion, to make it seem as if though people are in support of the mayor and eliminating terms. They made sure that enough people got to see it. Who has such a long, access to a mailing list like that? I also spoke to someone else today who said it's strange that I was able to get one, that I got one in my email when I don't give my email out. Nobody except for one individual would have my email. And that individual is someone that in my mind is behind this. And so they promoted it poorly, or they didn't promote it at all. They just sent it to a bunch of people. Then they reminded them, told them to bring umbrellas, told them transportation would be offered because they wanted it to be a bust. And so that they can justify the council going in and voting to eliminate terms and say, look, well, the people are in support of it. They tried to do a rally against the term eliminating terms and no one showed up. So that means the people support it. Or it could have been either way for Zahi, or people would have shown up. Let's say people said, hey, we come in anyway. We don't care if it's suspicious. And a lot of people came in support of not eliminating terms. Then Zahi could say, well, look, Mayor, maybe you should step down. Look, Tom Meyer and the Yonkers Democratic Committee, maybe the mayor should step down and maybe my guy Nader should get the support. This is what they do. So I wanted to come on and be very clear about what happened here, folks. And then once it was a bust, what did he do? He got the Yonkers Times. He got the Yonkers Newswire, Yonkers Times, the official paper of the city, Yonkers Newswire, and the Yonkers Voice, all three individuals who get paid by the Yonkers, by the city of Yonkers to promote, official notices. They get paid by elected officials to promote their campaign ads, but it's the same few elected officials. And so that's why they did that. And they went to them and say, hey, now you guys are going to write about it, make it seem like it's a big bust, make it seem like, people are actually supportive of eliminating terms, and make it seem like these few individuals are a bunch of crazies who have this thing for the administration and the Yonkers City Council. That was the game plan. Did I get it right, Zahi? How'd I do? You know where you messed up? Like, it's obvious. When those guys didn't say anything about it until after the fact, and then the Yonkers Tribune makes no mention of it at all, no mention of it, an opportunity to go and bash the Decatur's, and Hezi is quiet on it, that was obvious. I knew it was you. You're behind this. You're behind this 1000% Zahi Jeris. Zahi Jeris is operating within our Yonkers politics. I mean, he's good buddies with Tom Meyer and the Yonkers Democratic Committee. He's involved. He's very controlling. He has control. He controls ward leaders and district leaders. And ultimately, he has a big influence on the Yonkers Democratic Committee. And therefore, by default, our Yonkers, the official Yonkers, the Democratic Party here in the city of Yonkers, is corrupt just by default. Right? Why isn't Tom Meyer? Why haven't any Carlos Moran, any of those guys kicked him out? Why do I allow him to operate within it? Why haven't they called him out? Think about that. Why is it that Tom Meyer would be willing to allow harassment of an individual who works for DPW because his brother wanted to run against one of Zahi's candidates very recently? Why is it that the heads of the different departments here in the city of Yonkers are also the head of the political party here, the Democratic political party? Tom Meyer is the chair of the Democratic Party. He's also the commissioner of DPW. So if you help out the Democratic Party, you get a job at DPW. And don't worry, if your health is not that great, we got a doctor that will make sure you pass the physical required in order to get the job. Go do an audit on people's health. Why is this doctor doing that? Yet the doctor would not have approved. I don't. You know what? I'm gonna save that one. That makes me a little upset. I was upset when I heard that one, but I'm gonna save that one. Proving certain things and not approving other things. That's more important. That's why I can't mess with you, man. I know that just shows who you are. But that's what these guys do. And we have to understand, folks, that if you are truly someone that wants to see change, if you are a Democrat here in the city of Yonkers, you cannot count and trust the Democratic committee here in Yonkers. It's time to move on to a new Democratic organization. I'm looking for people who want to join with me. I have the Yonkers Democrats United. And basically what I'm trying to do is gather Democrats who are just tired of this nonsense, this corruption, the nastiness, the ugliness, the stuff like this in our politics, are tired of the same old, so we can get together and become a strong force. Get our Democratic Party out of the grips of those who are in control of it. Right? And so, city employees are put under this pressure when you have their bosses running the political party here. And so now they're forced to have to support certain individuals. That's how it goes. And that's not okay. And this is what they do, folks. So this was not the Caters. This was not Freddy Vazquez. This was not any of the individuals that were named here. This was 1000%, folks. And you have to believe it. Zahi Jeris. This is what he does. He also has a page, Concern Yonkers Democrats. And I'm still trying to figure out who is exposing Yonkers corruption. And while I don't necessarily agree with some of the things they're saying, I'm just not sure if we can trust them. I have my suspicions about that page. I thought that page might have been Zahi Jeris because I wonder, why would this guy stay a lackey forever, right? Why would he continue being a lackey, right? I mean, look at every movie, right? Every Godfather, every mob movie, or every gang movie, every movie like that, right? The guy second in command always trying to come up. At some point, they want to take the lead. They want to make the big bucks. So I just wonder if this is some power grab that's going on here. A lot of people see an opportunity here. So there may be some kind of crazy power grab, some kind of divide in the city of Yonkers. So don't be surprised if you see something like that, folks. But 1000%, again, like I said, this rally was created by Zahi Jeris and his crew. Yo, Zahi, that's you and your crew. That's you. That's Jeffrey, Frankie, your son. That's what you guys do. This is what you guys do. That's your value to the political system here, the political process here in the city of Yonkers. This is what you guys do. Glad you went to witness. That's why I went. I didn't go to protest. I didn't go to support it. I went to see what was going to happen. And I'm, imagine they're talking about the one person who went in support is me. Lame. Why do they want to be mayor? Who's that? Corazon Pineda. Who else? John Rubo. Who are you speaking about? Everybody. I hear the mayor's like the president. It's like the king. You know what I mean? The king. People say some people say he's over $700 million budget. You're in charge of that. That's a lot of power. That's what people want. Power. It's how lame we've become as humanity. Money and power and material things are what motivate and drive us. We want to get a title. We want to be at the top. So over that. Jesus, I'm so over that. We need fresh faces, 1000%. We need fresh faces, people that are genuine, that care, that don't want a title, that don't want money, that don't want to say, look at me, take a picture. Look at me with my big license plate that says I am a judge. Really? Look like a car with a license plate. Exposing Yonkers corruption page is pure trash. Delete it. The things that they're saying, I mean, it's very interesting. However, you just don't know what the motive is and who's behind it. And again, I think these are insiders fighting. Some of the information that they're giving or they're putting out there, I mean, you have to really know what you're looking for. Again, a lot of the information I put out is information that's given to me, or I'm given a lead, right? And then I'll look into it. I don't just go and I'm just not digging things up and just, I'm not doing that. I'm giving leads or information, but these individuals know what to look for. It's like they already had this stuff and they're pumping it out. So again, I'm not totally against it, but I'm just questioning who is behind it and what's their motive. And again, I think it's insiders. I think there's a power grab going on. A lot of people are saying that the Spanos have weakened. That a lot of the people are old timers now. They're older. They don't have the same influence. Look at what happened with Zeldin. Look at what happened with Tim Hodges. That shows that maybe they don't have the same strength. A lot of their voter base is the same old individuals who benefit. You know who they are. A lot of them were over there at John Rubo's Yonkers Brewing for the Emmy viewing party, the Yonkers Emmy viewing party with municipal housing and Yonkers Generation Yonkers and the movie people. One particular family here in the city of Yonkers, like, you guys are blessed. How did everyone just end up working for the city of Yonkers? I mean, you guys are totally blessed. Every single one of you guys works for the city of Yonkers. I mean, you guys are even doing better than the Spanos. I don't think the Spanos have every single person, right? This family has every single person in their family working in some capacity, even in made-up positions. They made up positions for these people. Such a clear presentation. Thank you. I appreciate it. Control opposition. That's exactly what it is. There you go. Thank you for giving me the term. It's controlled opposition. That's exactly what exposing Yonkers corruption might very well be. That's exactly what the individuals who sent out that email blast with that rally flyer, they are opposition, control opposition. They want to influence the opposition. They want to make people think that it's just a, crazy group, influence them, direct them into thinking something that it's not. Folks, that is 1000%. That email, I'm not saying the page, but the email that came from Whistleblow, not Whistleblower, Whistleblow 914 is he mastermind Jerris. 1000%. You know it's you, Zahi. And I reached out to him. I said, yo, that was a good move. That was a power move. Zahi. Come on, dog. Why you doing that, man? Messing with people's emotions here, man. Little Friday joke. You show compassion to the most immature. Very kind of you. Setting a great example. We didn't Jesus, right? Jesus showed compassion to those who wanted him dead. Look, I don't have anything personal against anyone. I don't personally hate anybody. It's like a chessboard, and I got my pieces, they got their pieces, and that's what it's all about to me. It's not personal. I don't hate anyone, and I'm not gonna say I hate these people. I wish them this, that, and third. No, I really don't. I mean, may the best man win. I've been here, done that. This is nothing new to me. In business, it's like that. You got to be very strategic, and these guys are very strategic, but maybe not so strategic. I mean, they're starting to show their hand a bit, and it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. I mean, you can only do the same moves over and over before you start to expose yourself. I mean, we know what your tools are: Yonkers Voice, the Yonkers Newswire, the Yonkers Tribune. Those are your tools. We know who your candidates are. We know who your supporters are. All right. We know what organizations, pages you guys have now. And that's just the surface stuff. Very surfacey. Unity is waking up and will unveil to all these atrocities. Yeah, it's coming out. This is we have entered the age of light, right? So all will be exposed, and that's why it's all happening all over the world. I mean, see what's going on. A lot of things are being exposed. People are resigning, or we need more public integrity. Yeah, well, whatever happened to the ethics board? Whatever happened to the Yonkers ethics board? Why did they disband? Right? Why? The last thing they did, I think, as a board was they allowed John Rubo to sit on the chair of the real estate committee, even though he has a strong relationship with the developers AMS, the ones that bought out Chicken Island, right? And he helped them with that deal. So, but he's still allowed to vote. I don't understand why the city bought Chicken Island before AMS was ready to build. So now they lease it from AMS. So the city's paying rent for those parking lots. Why didn't they wait till AMS was ready to build, till they got the approvals and all that before they sold it, right? So they wouldn't have to pay a lease. But I want to show you this. Shout out to the Yonkers firemen. We got to support our Yonkers bravest. And this is what we need to do as a community as well. We need to come together like the firemen did over at City Hall yesterday. Something was going down. I don't know what. I was not there. It was earlier in the meeting. Local 628, I believe, the Yonkers Fire Department Firemen Union, they showed up with their red shirts and they were not playing, man. They wanted to show force. And I want to show you that. But they didn't post why they were there. Does anyone know why? Anyone know why? Where's that freaking picture at with the firemen? I don't know where that picture's at, folks. But the firemen, they were at City Hall. They were there with their, red shirts, their union shirts. They were standing there. They didn't sit. They stood up. They wanted to show force. They wanted to show a strong presence. So I took that as they were upset about something, right? They were upset about something. I don't know what that was. But, oh, here we go. Does anyone know? Oh, the budget cuts. I thought it was about the firehouse and AMS having the firehouse moved again after they had it relocated once. Yonkers fire officials are applauding the decision by the city council to veto a capital budget cut that would have cost the city's ability to buy new fire trucks. Of course they weren't going to do that. They want all the money. The city council and mayor originally approved giving $5.8 million to the fire department, but recently proposed amending the budget. That change would have cut that line to around $2 million. The cut would have meant the department could only buy one new fire truck this year as opposed to 5 originally planned. All right. If you can't get to a fire, even get to the fire and say the pump fails or the ladder fails, then we're pretty much useless. That's true. On Tuesday, the city finance department came back asking to increase the budget by $39 million. The city originally was looking to move money around and add $48 million to the capital budget to bond several projects, including a waterfront park, a new soccer field, and the Kekay Center parking garage. So do we need a waterfront park and a new soccer field? We need new schools. We need schools to be renovated. I don't understand this. We have a nice soccer field over there by Tibbetts. And we have a nice park, JFK Marina, by the waterfront. If you can just fix that up and not give it to Layla Gorin so she could turn it into a waterfront casino, right? I don't get this. This is crazy. This is crazy. They're going to put the city in more debt for another soccer field and a waterfront park that's going to be utilized by the rich and wealthy folks who are living at the water in those by the water in those luxury developments. It's not for everybody in Yonkers. It's not for the average person in Yonkers who makes $35,000 a year. It's not for us. Don't forget the Anabi was found guilty of accepting $200 or $200,000 from Zahi Jerris. Absolutely. And now look at that situation, the Ridge Hill scandal, and look at the Tasha Diaz and the affordable housing scandal. That's what I'm going to call it. The AHO scandal, the affordable housing scandal, the flip-flop scandal, the chancleta scandal. How do you like that? You know what chancleta means, Tasha Freeman? Huh? They teach you that word? I thought this was about the fire department being knocked down again. AMS wants the land. It's crazy how the building department is also a weapon. It has been weaponized. They went down to the fire department that was on School Street when it was originally located across the street from Chicken Island. And they said, this building needs to be condemned. And they condemned it and shut it down, right? And then they knocked it down. But they only did that because AMS wanted that land. If AMS had never come here and said, we want that fire department would have never been condemned or shut down. And so now that put people in the city of Yonkers at risk. It increased response time as the firemen who were in that station are part of an emergency unit, kind of an elite unit, and they were scattered throughout the city of Yonkers. So that caused an increase in response time, putting lives at risk because the developers wanted that land. Now they want the land where the new firehouse sits on, and they're thinking about knocking it down and rebuilding it where it was originally. What does that tell you? What the developers want, the developers get. And the developers, now that Wilson Kimple is the chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals, have completely taken over the city of Yonkers. and it's over, folks. We are doomed. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Thank you for joining me tonight. I just wanted to be very clear on who organized or attempted to organize or try to fool or put out that bogus rally. That was not by the people. And let me ask you, folks, do you support eliminating terms, or are you against eliminating terms? This should be like the question of the week. I want answers. Please, let me get some answers. Do you support eliminating terms, or are you against eliminating terms? For eliminating terms or against eliminating terms? I want to see how many people could comment. I mean, show it. They don't believe that the people, that's what they want. Well, you don't have to come out to Unity Fountain to express how you feel. You can comment right here on Basement Politics, and I will be posting all the comments to show what people actually want. So if you support it, if you want to see terms eliminated, let me know. I will put that out there. If you are against it, let me know. I want to put that out there. I want to see what is the consensus. I mean, we got to get some straight answers here. We can't allow these people to screw with us over here. So Zahi, that thing didn't work. It might have backfired on you. I think that there's some things coming, and that's going to have backfired. And also, people are starting to see what you do here in the city of Yonkers, how you have a impact negatively on politics here in the city of Yonkers. What you did to Mike Cater, you did that to your own cousin, blood cousin, first cousins, blood relatives. You threw him under the bus. You supported Lakeisha Collins Bellamy against your own blood cousin. She thanked your son, Frankie Jarris, the night that she won, along with Wilson Kimball, the people who run our city council. I'm Freddy Vazquez. Thank you for joining me, folks. We have to know the truth. We must know the truth. Term limits need to stay in place. You hear that? You hear that, Zahi? You hear that, Zahi? Z, come on, man. We could have been we could have did this together and did a nice thing for the people of Yonkers, man. All right, but you guys are greedy. How much money do you need? I mean, you got a grotto in your pool and you've yet to invite me. I bought a new pair of swimming trunks, man. You told me you were going to invite me. Got me some cool swimming trunks just for your pool. Unaffordable housing for the poor is a form of segregation. 1,000%. Look at how much luxury housing they're bringing in. I mean, it's obvious. Come on, it's obvious. We want you out. You poor people. Get out of here, you poor folks. We need vocational technical schools. Absolutely. We need to improve our educational system. That is how we improve our economy. We need to bring in industries, not luxury developments, not temporary jobs, but actual industries. I mean, listen, I know some people don't like Amazon, but if Amazon could have provided, 10,000 people with jobs here in the city of Yonkers or more, I say bring them on. Let's bring in. We could have put Amazon over there by the water, by where Xtel is building 7 buildings. We don't need luxury. We don't need 7 luxury apartments buildings. We need jobs for the people. So I would have put Amazon right there. Then I would have took Leek and Watts and said, we taking this land. Okay, we're going to build a huge high school there for 2,000 students. And Syracuse, you guys want to be a part of this? Lionsgate, you want to be a part of this? Well, you got to rent it from us. You could build your studios, but you're going to rent it from us. And then you're going to show our kids all about this movie stuff. And you're going to only hire mostly our kids, at least at the entry level. And we would have been making money getting that rent from the Leek and Watts property. We would have had a huge school, 2,000 student school, film school. So that way we can ensure that more kids who wanted to go there would get in. Now they're thinking about putting a 300 to 600 student school. That's going to limit, how many people can get in. And, that's already an issue. People, have wanting to get into their first choice, and people are going to say, that's a new school. That's a film school. I want to go in there. And then it's going to be limited. So, they just go about it all wrong. And it's a bunch of crumbs that we're getting, and that's all. So don't get happy for crumbs, or you're going to be eating crumbs the rest of your life. And crumbs don't make me full. I'm Freddy Vazquez. Have a good night, folks. Thank you for joining me. I am Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics. Make sure you do understand what's going on here in the city of Yonkers. Don't fall for the foolishness. That rally was created by Zahi, Mastermind Jarris. Wanted to create, I don't know if he wanted to create the image that people are in support of eliminating terms, or if he wanted, people to come out and say, hey, look, people are not in support of the mayor running again. Let's get my guy Nader Sage in there. I want full control. It's my time. It's my time.
Freddy wins.
What is that sweet spot? What is that sweet spot? What is that sweet spot? We're gonna leave it where it is. Let's vote on this. Let's get it popping. Like I said, political games that are being played. You could have.
But I am the bad guy.
I know you have a lot of women.
But I am the bad guy.
I know you have a lot of women that work in your office. And I was also told that you favor some over others.
But I am the bad guy. Not long ago, he admitted himself on a live that
Freddy wins. Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
because they hablan español in the hopes that the people will follow them. It's not working. So that my competition, the guy who always talks about me and say awful things about me, he will not have a problem, guys. So that because he doesn't cover, he only talks trash. Benefit him. Because he doesn't cover, he only talks trash. We are the real McCoy. Benefit him. Because he doesn't cover, he only talks trash. Are we? I don't talk trash. I cover. Let's make it what I feel it's important to you guys. Los que hablan español, mande unas estrellitas para nosotros.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vazquez.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers public schools. I don't think you did. We can go on all night with this, honey.
Freddy